So, good afternoon, good morning to everybody. This is Jonathan Thompson from Group Knowledge Management. I'm here today to teach you how to use PowerApps and how you can very quickly create an application, a mobile application, that will allow you to submit data directly from your mobile phone back to a SharePoint list. So here we are in SharePoint Online. You'll see that there's a link down the bottom for incident report example. This is a SharePoint list that I've created, and the list is very simple. If I go to list properties, you'll see that there are a number of fields defined that are a combination of single lines of text, date and time fields, choice fields, and indeed multiple lines of text. Please note, when you're using multiple lines of text where you want to use PowerApps, then please make sure that the multiple lines of text are plain format, not rich text format. So now we have our list. What I do is then go into PowerApps. So PowerApps is one of the applications on the waffle, and you can see that when I click PowerApps, the application will now load. So once PowerApps is loaded, what we simply do is click Create a New Application. The PowerApps editor window will then start to load on the screen. So here we are in the Power Applications main menu. What we're going to do is select SharePoint, because we're going to link to a SharePoint list, and we'll keep the phone layout. So we simply click that, and the first thing we need to do is to paste the URL that points to our SharePoint site. When we click Go, we're then presented with the two lists that are available. The one we want is obviously incident reporting, and I click Connect. What the application will do now is it will actually go away and build this Power App for me. So it will build effectively three screens. The first screen will be a search that allows me to search that SharePoint list. The second screen will be a display screen. So it allows me to drill down into the detail of one of the incidents and actually see the data. The third screen will then be an edit screen. So here we are, we've got our three screens. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a new screen. And I'm going to select a blank screen. Now the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to create a landing page for my mobile application. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag that empty screen through to the top of my list. Okay, so there we have it, and I'm going to move it to the very top. There we are. So the first thing I'm going to do on this page is I'm now going to insert, and I'm going to select an image. Now my image, this is effectively now an image holder, and I can stretch it out to fit the page, and I now need to actually add an image into the image holder. So I simply select Media, select Browse, and I can now select an image that I have on my desktop that I may wish to use for my application. So I'm going to find a nice image. So let's use, let's find a nice image. Let's use this image here. So I upload the image, I go back into my application, and at the top here where I've got the image FX, that references the location. If I do a single quote, I can then start to actually search for that particular image that I've added to the screen. So you can see I've selected leader 512, and now the image is loaded up. I may want to change the background color of the home page. So again, I can select the home page, click home, go to fill, and I can then select a particular background color. So in this example, let's make it green. I can insert text, so I could insert a label, and in that label I could then put a title of the application, so incident reporting. And if I want to, I can also make that font a different color by simply selecting the block and then choosing a different color for that particular font. Obviously you can make it bold, you can center it, and you can do the usual kind of editing around font. I may also want to add a button at the bottom that's going to allow me to enter the application. So I simply select a button, position that button at the bottom of the page, And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open the advanced options. The first thing is the title of the button. So instead of button, I'm going to put enter application. And then on action, instead of false, what I'm going to do is click FX, and you'll see then that I can select an action, and I can scroll down and say what type of action do I want. So I'm going to want it to navigate. So where do I navigate to? Well, I'm going to navigate to browse screen 1, and the transition effect that I want to use is fade. And I close the brackets, and I've now set an action on that application. So let's have a look at how this application would work. So if I go into play mode, we can see a view of our application, how it would appear on your mobile device. When we click on enter application, it goes to the browse list where we could then search for different incidents that have occurred. I can drill down into one of the incidents, and from here I can see the date and time, the description, what was happening at the time, etc. If I wish, I can also from the mobile application submit a new incident. So you'll see that there's an online form to complete, and from here I could set a current date, I could set a time. So we could say that this particular incident happened at 7 AM, describe the incident, so broken finger. Okay. And what I can do is then put a description of the activity, so valve replacement. Okay, what was the incident? Trapped finger resulting in break. What was the cause? Again, you can put in whatever information you wish for this particular incident. And once I'm done, I simply click on the tick button, and what this is now doing is writing back to SharePoint Online, and you'll see that broken finger now appears in my report. But more importantly, if I go back now to the incident reporting site and do a quick refresh on that, what we will see is the submission that I just made via the mobile application has now automatically appeared in the SharePoint list. So this is a great example where you could build a mobile application. You can then save that application and publish it out to the Cloud App Store for NG, and it allows other people to then come in and utilize that application on their mobile phone. So it could be something very useful for assets or for business functions, external audits, things like that, where you want to just collate the data on your mobile device and actually write it back directly to SharePoint Online without having to go into the SharePoint Online environment.